Invincible Season 2 Part 2 is just more Invincible. It's more of what we want, and for me as a fan of the comic books and primarily the first season and even Part 1, I've been waiting for this. This hiatus have felt way too long, and we'll talk about that towards my cons, but we're here to talk about the second part, the finale to Season 2 that we've all been waiting for, and it's damn well intense. It's not as great as the first part, nor even the first season, but it is still good, and I'm excited to talk about it. It's more Invincible goodness, and I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, comment down below, and just getting into this again, I thought this was just more good Invincible. It's more Invincible, it's more of what you want, it's more diving into this world, and very much finishing a lot of different storylines while starting to elevate others. And while this is a non-spoiler review, it is going to be a little bit hard to talk about certain things, so do understand I will be quite vague. If the season has already come out, feel free to talk spoilers down below, and then that way we can start having a conversation down there as well. Now, Invincible for me, flat out, the thing that has always impressed me and giving like my major pros for the part 2 is still the voice performances. I think Steven Yeun just continues to be incredible in this role. There's certain things and certain moments in this season that almost like broke me, and I think Steven as a performer we've seen in so many different things, but when it comes down to the voice of Mark Grayson, he does some incredible elements with it, and it was really impressive. Sandra Oh has a lot of great moments in here as well, and Sterling K. Brown, I mean, shout out to him. I love what they ended up doing with the rest of that character, and I think they did an excellent job advertising and bringing it to life. Now, there's a lot of other voice actors I kind of want to talk about, but I really can't without getting into spoilers, so kind of just to shout out Zazie Beetz, of course, Gillian Jacobs, they're always fantastic. Walton Goggins, I think, does a great job in here as well. Invincible just is more Invincible. It touches up on storylines that maybe were not finished out in part 1, of course, and for me, it adds a couple other things that I wasn't anticipating for them to bring in yet. And as a comic book reader, it's one of my favorite things about Invincible is that they've been piecing and moving certain things around continuity-wise that makes more sense in terms of the show, but it still hones in the same energy as the original comic book. And to kind of just get into that, I think what I should actually discuss then is a little bit more of my issues. Now, first off, my biggest issue was the fact that we had to wait so damn long for the part 2. I think, I don't know if they were finishing the animation or if it was true that they just wanted to kind of divert away because of the holiday season, how busy it is, but I do not think that was the right move. I think the pacing, it really hurt the pacing of the entire show, primarily with part 1 being so damn good, and then where it ends off, that would have just been a nice like cliff, maybe for a month. But the fact that it's been like 3-4 feels a tad bit too long, and then we jump into this and we only have 4 episodes and then it ends and you're like, oh, okay. And it's like, okay, so now when am I gonna get season 3? I hope sooner, but that was one of the parts that disappointed me just a hair. On top of that, my biggest issue with part 2, and again, maybe this is because the hiatus and the pacing, but I really felt it slowed down considerably a lot. Primarily with Mark and Amber's relationship. Now, comic book readers will know this is a piece that was important into the comic book, and it leads into something very important. And I've overall liked Mark and Amber's relationship a lot more in the series. Like a tenfold, think it's way better. But I still cannot deny that as much better written as it is in here, it still hurts the pacing. And I felt like there was a storyline there that kind of moves between 3 different episodes, maybe even 4 at this point if you want to include them all. And I would have gotten to the point on that by episode 2 of part 2. Because of how much it just hurts in the pacing, I started feeling that there were certain storylines I wish they would have focused on a little bit more. Specifically with Sterling K. Brown's character, I wish they would have built that up a little more. It seems like it's just been lingering in the background, and again, without getting into spoilers, even from the poster, it seems like that's been the thing that they've been leading into with the finale of this. It really isn't brought up until the finale of this season, where in part 2, they kind of focus in on, oh, let's finish this Martian storyline. Let's finish this relationship storyline. Let's finish this element. And there's a lot in there that I completely enjoy. But all of Mark's relationship hurts that. Then they bring in someone that I did not expect to see yet, which was awesome, but it was just a tease. And it felt like they had so much going on that at times it doesn't feel as focused as the first season. And I understand that's how the comic book started to feel, but this one started to kind of deviate and follow more of the comic book line than I wish it actually did, and I wish it would have done more of it what season 1 had done. But besides that, this show is so damn enjoyable. It's so intense, and primarily what I've really loved so far is the action. The action in part 2 really surprised me because I didn't expect us to get anything that was like to the level of the Omni-Man versus Invincible fight in the season 1. And I think by the end there are 2 fight scenes that like truly reminded me of like Dragon Ball Z, and I was like just grinning ear to ear. Specifically, one is actually more gory than I would say the Omni-Man versus Invincible fight scene, which was very bloody. But there's one in here where I was like, ooh, it's like oozing gore and blood everywhere across the screen. Those fight scenes mixed into there's primarily even seeing the Guardians of the Globe and other things that Mark Grayson has to tackle into his lifehood makes me excited for what season 3 is. I felt like this was kind of like a nice middling ground where it's setting up certain things, getting everything else established in this world and what the possibilities can be, and moving us into the next primary step of what this show needs to take. And after part 1, which was like one of my favorite things from the comic books, the comics kind of felt the same lag as well. And while they couldn't emphasize it or make it even bigger, it is important to the rest of the story. And all I can say is that I really hope we do get season 3 soon enough. Again, that's as much as I can really talk about without getting into spoilers. Some more little minor things that I can talk a little bit more vague. There's been a voice actor going around that is supposedly in here. Won't confirm or deny, but there are a lot of cool Easter eggs in here that made me smile from ear to ear. One character that shows up a little bit earlier than I anticipated, but when they showed up, I was like, oh shit, where's this going? Excited to see where that plays off. It's just more exploration, more diving in, and more giving, and that's what Invincible delivers. It delivers the goods. So part 2, it's pretty good. I liked it. It didn't blow me away like part 1, and it didn't blow me away at even close to season 1, but Invincible season 2 is still good, and it ends in a good manner that just makes me hope that we can get season 3 a little bit faster. All that said, I'm going to give Invincible season 2 part 2 a B. Thanks for watching this. Make sure to leave your thoughts down below. Still very much intense season. Can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts, and of course, until next time, stay classy.